We had to put some of it on resources so that you can do that on your homework, either in your downtime in the hotel, on your flight home, block some time in the week or so after the conference. Really commit to yourself, right? If you have a set of written values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, it need not be perfect. The mere fact that it's written down will change your life in untold ways. If you understand your finances, you need to know just a few numbers. What is your monthly or annual burn rate? What is your net worth? What is your passive income? With those 3 numbers, you know your wealth span. We want to equip you guys with the knowledge to really deeply understand and embody your own personal situation so that you can spend your time on that 1%, right? Like, what an honor it would be for us, right? What a legacy you all would create for us if you took these teachings and used it to focus more on your 1% to create your legacy span. So it's like this with legacy span, it's like this with wealth span, and there's some extra resources there for you on that website. Let's talk about why compounding is so hard to understand. We wanted to show you so that my hope is that by the time we're here on this slide, we kind of talked about, do we put this slide at the beginning? Do we put this slide at the end? We sort of went back and forth as the pros and cons of that. My hope is that by now you have seen so many examples. You're like, oh my gosh, the net worth curve of the Stoggebergs and the Buffetts look the same. That probably means that mine looks the same too. And the net worth curve looks the same as global life expectancy, even those two things are completely unrelated topics. And that looks the same as technological advancement. I hope you're seeing that this law of compounding, it's a curve. But why is it hard for us to understand that? So let's look at a couple of these things. Go back one slide, please. Let's look first at the red text there. The first is that as humans, our natural inclination is to think linearly. So we're chugging along on the black curve, and then we think, okay, we're here, and then you see where we hit the red line, and you're like, oh, we're just gonna be linear, right? If we're a company at 5 million rev, next year we'll be at 6 million rev. If today I can run 5 miles, a couple of months from now I'll be able to run 6 miles. We think that it's linear, it's not. We can go a little bit further, and we think that our trajectory is based on our current growth rate, right? So maybe we say, okay, this isn't linear, but whatever my pace of growth is right now, that's going to continue to be my pace of growth, right? If I'm getting a little bit better every day, I'm going to continue to get a little bit better every day. If I'm getting a lot better, I'll continue to get a lot better. And so then we get that yellow or kind of orangish curve, and that's starting to look like an exponential curve, but not really, right? It's still quite off of the future reality. We have bad predictions. We underestimate the future. All of these things are very natural ways of thinking. One of the superpowers of growth, of understanding ourselves, is that when we understand the natural ways that we think as humans, we can start to see some of our blind spots that we all likely have, either just because of the way our wiring is or because of common education we had in our upbringing or elementary school years. So understanding why it's hard to understand compounding is a superpower, because then you can spot your blind spots when you're thinking about different areas of your life. If you're thinking about, say, growing your real estate portfolio and you're thinking, okay, I have this many properties, I want, X plus 5, you're linear thinking, right? Oh, okay, that's because I'm basing my trajectory on my past growth rate. I understand I'm doing that. Knowing the way to kind of break free from those default ways of thinking is what sets you free. So those are some of the reasons why compounding is so hard to understand. And you have a whole book now of all of the ways that compounding shows up in the natural world. And I hope you're starting to see how you can apply it to your own life. Let's talk about you want to cover this? There's a couple more things here.
So just a few bullet points here. We talked about time orientation. We talked about threshold of control, the whole event last year, so we're not going to dive into threshold of control, but anytime you're trying to contemplate something that's just like outside of your current frame of reference, it is intrinsically fear-provoking, right? Well, I've never driven a car this fast before, and what will happen if I do that? I better not drive my car that fast. It's a misinterpretation of percentages. So you can eventually double your money, and it happens faster than you might think. If you have like a 10% fixed rate return, it's 7 years, not 10. Like most people, when they hear 10%, they think, okay, if I invest $100,000, I get $10,000 a year, and I double my money in 10 years. No, no, no. It's 7 years, not 10 years, and it gets shorter, way shorter, the next doubling and the next doubling and the next doubling. Our brains intrinsically discount future outcomes because our brains were made to keep us safe when we were caveman and cavewoman keeping the lions away. Lifespans were short. The future was uncertain. And it made sense for us to emotionally discount the future. It wasn't super likely that you would see 10 years from now. But in today's day and age, it is statistically extraordinarily likely that every single person in this room is still going to be alive a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And it makes much more sense for us to live in the future than when we were cave people. In general, most people are always trying to predict that hockey stick in the exponential growth chart. But what they don't realize is that they are always in the hook of the hockey stick. Our net worth chart looks the same as Warren Buffett's, even though we have very different net worths. As the chart progresses, if you stay on the curve, it just keeps going up until that hook of the hockey stick 10 years from now looks like a flat line on the chart today. So people are like, oh, I'm going to get in low and sell high. I'm going to, like they're always trying to outwit the compounding curve, not realizing that you just have to get on the chart. That's all you have to do. That's your only moral obligation in the universe. That's the only way you need to win with compounding, and then just a lack of financial education. This is not taught in schools, and I don't know why that is. That's why we're teaching this right now. Another reason why people consciously or subconsciously don't understand compounding is a concept known as the financial thermostat. This is from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Phenomenal book. Cannot recommend enough that you read it. The average millionaire in the United States, their net worth, you'd think it would be like similar to their next door neighbor. Turns out their net worth is like 10 or 100 times higher. The people that look like they're wealthy are not. The people that have all of the things. And the people who don't look like they are wealthy and are leading like a somewhat modest life, those are the people who have all the net worth. And one of the reasons for this weird concept is some people think that it's evil to be rich. We showed you how wealthy people are the ones who do all of the giving. 99% of all of the giving comes from the people who have money to give. It shouldn't be surprising, but we grew up in a caveman universe where if my buddy over here eats the big piece of meat, well, maybe I can't have a big piece of meat. It's a zero-sum game. Today, if your next door neighbor sells their house for like twice as much as you thought it was worth, does that mean that your house is worth less? No, it means your house is worth more. You've got a sale comp. We live in a world of compounding abundance, but most people, their brains are still wired for thousands of years ago. And most people have what's called a financial thermostat. Have you ever heard, stories of people that win the lottery and a few years later they're broke? This is kind of like that thermostat that gets set for the amount of effort required for survival that Malcolm Gladwell talks about. But most people, they feel in their heart of hearts that they're not worth it. That I'm supposed to make $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year, or I'm never supposed to have more than X number of dollars in the bank. This thermostat is typically set young, and it's typically within 10% of your parents. If you inflation adjust net worth and income, the vast majority of the time, your children make plus or minus 10% of what you make, and their net worth is plus or minus 10% of your net worth. Maybe it's all genetics or whatever. I think we just raise our children with a certain mindset when it comes to money, and compounding flies in the face of the thermostat. It races off the chart, and all of a sudden, we have so much more than we ever could have possibly comprehended, and it terrifies us. So, what is the most important point in the compounding curve? Who can say what the most important point?
Take a moment to reflect on that. That's on page 42. What do you think?
Sandy just had a suggestion in chat there. She might be onto something.
As you're thinking about what you think the most important part on the compounding curve is, maybe write down why you think that point is the most important point. And then we're going to go through I don't want to use the word important. We're going to go through the distinctive parts on the curve and kind of explore each one of them. Like, is this it? Is this it? Let's take a look on page 43, getting on the curve. Getting on the curve. So we've got the very first dot, the first time you track your net worth, when you have zero real estate, or when you have 1 unit of real estate, whatever it is for you. Is it getting on the curve? And the question here, where in your life do you need to get on the curve? What's something new you want to start? A dream you've had, a wish you've had, a capability you want to develop, a relationship you want to start. What's a place in your life where you need to get on the curve?